What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with a loose vintage Star Wars market update. All ungraded items, everything from first 12 figures, some 12-inch figures, all the way to the last 17. And I've got a few vehicles at the end of the video as well. So interesting data points here. There were a couple of really good deals in here. As always, thanks to my Patreon supporters. Patreon.com/actionfiguregrader is where you can go to sign up. Let's dig in. So this seller, LM Lane 3, I don't know him. I don't think I've ever bought from him, but always has really nice stuff, both graded and ungraded. And he had some first 12 figures that sold here recently. Luke Skywalker complete. This was a two-line Hong Kong, as you can see there, GMFGI Hong Kong. I believe this is the Luke that can be paired with the double telescoping saber. And this one also was a lettered saber, LL on the saber, as you can see there. So this was a beauty in really great shape. And it sold in an auction, 29 bids on June 18th for almost $200. And it looks every bit of worth that price, just given the condition of that one. The limbs, everything looked pretty good. Maybe just a very, very faint pink hue to the tunic and the arms. But overall, a very, very clean figure. And probably would grade very high. But about $200 took home that farm boy. He also had a Princess Leia. And the Princess Leia, as you can see there, the arms are maybe just a slightly different shade versus the torso on her. But very clean looking. I bet this is the Hong Kong just based on the face paint there. But a very pretty figure. This one looks like the brown hair and belt variation for a Princess Leia. That one sold in an auction for $130-$150. So even loose and ungraded Princess Leia, first 12, always is very expensive. He had a number of other examples as well, but those were two of the nice ones. He also had a Boba Fett that will be coming up here shortly. Here is a 12-inch Jawa, complete with the gun and the bandoliers. Looked to be in really clean shape overall. This one also sold in an auction for $150, 2 bids plus $17 shipping. Very nice looking Jawa 12-inch figure there, and that's about right. That's about where they go for on Facebook even, so I think that was a very fair price. Here was a 12-inch Stormtrooper. This one obviously had a little bit of yellowing going on the body and the head there. The arms look nice and white, but just a little faint plastic degradation on him, and it was complete with the blaster. You know, again, a very nice looking figure. That one sold in an auction for $129.50 plus $12.55 shipping. So a couple of data points for those of you that like to collect those loose 12-inch figures. We just documented one in the last loose complete video that was a loose complete IG-88. That's the most expensive. I think that one sold for around $800 or $850. And next up, back to that seller, LM Lane. He also had this Boba Fett. And I was curious because I hadn't seen a Boba Fett loose and in really nice shape sell recently. And this one looked to be really clean. It had one little ding on the knee pad there. A little bit of overspray on the yellow gauntlet and as well as on the red gauntlet. Just some paint overspray there. But overall, very clean condition. Probably 80-plus condition. That one sold for $93 in an auction. And it seems like on the low end for about similar condition Boba Fett's, you're talking, you know, $80 to $85 usually. This one was the Hong Kong variation. So you're going to obviously pay a little bit more for the Taiwan. But that was a nice looking Boba Fett for $93 plus shipping. I thought this was the best deal of this batch. This was a bagged I can't remember which version this is, but this is the one that includes the orange head Bosk, I believe. And it's got the white made in Hong Kong. So this was the mail-away version of the Bosk that you saw on like the 21 backs or the ESB 21 backs. So this was a tape-sealed baggie for the Bosk, and I think that is the orange head. It's hard to tell. This one looks like the orange head there, but you can see a little bit of wear to the back of the figure there. But overall, the tape was nice and firmly attached, and this was a bargain. This one sold in an auction for $108 plus $6 shipping. That's a really good buy for that early Bosk baggie. Next up is a couple of different Yodas that sold. This was just the standard Hong Kong brown snake Yoda with the Pac-Man eyes, and that one sold for $124.50. Always commands really high prices. In high grade, AFA graded, these can sell for $250 to $300 pretty easily. You can see very clearly the black Pac-Man eyes on that Yoda. And this was another Yoda. This is the Lily Letty version. So this one includes the kind of reddish-brown cane as well as the brown snake, and very distinctive Lily Letty there. But this one did have a lot of wear, as you can see there, and that held the price down just a little bit. You can see some very obvious wear to the figure there. It's still sold for $239 US or 350 Australian. Now, in high grade, I've seen some UKG graded examples that are on Facebook that have sold for around $600. And I think my UKG 85, that's about what I paid for mine, $550 or $600. So this one was appropriately discounted. I don't know what's going on his face there. It looks like he's got a melt mark or something going on. So this one was a beater. This one was not in great shape, but it was the Lily Letty. And the price, again, reflected that, you know, the damage to it. Me personally, I probably would just rather save my money a little bit and get one in better condition. But he kind of looks like the Joker there with that weird melt mark on the face. But, you know, lots of wear to the feet and the hands as well as that melt mark. And so that kept the price down. Next up was another Lily Letty. This is the Prune Face. Looked to be in pretty good shape overall. And this one sold, it was listed for $170. The best offer that was accepted on this one was $150. And that's about right. If you go to like some of the Facebook groups, there's a really good one called the Secret Lily Letty Society on Facebook. It goes by TSLLS. And that's what you got to look for. It's very hard to find on Facebook, but that's run by a couple of good guys that know everything about Lily Lettys and Mexican bootlegs. And they usually sell these Prune Face Lily Lettys for about that same price, $150. So that's probably right in line with market. Next up, I thought this was a really good deal as well. This is the Molded Face Luke Jedi. And, you know, you couldn't see his hands that well. This one, there's a shot of his hand there. But this one looks like the molded face. And it looked to be in really clean condition overall. And it sold for $100. I thought that was a steal of a deal. Only one bid on that one. I don't know how this one passed through all the eBay filters and only sold for $100. That to me is a great buy. Great buy for a molded face Luke. Those tend to go for a lot of money, and graded, like high grade examples, can set you back $350 to $550 depending on the grade. But I thought that was a great buy for $100 plus $10 shipping. Some last 17 figures. 2 different Imperial Gunners sold. Neither one of them was perfect, although it was in pretty good shape. This one had a little bit of a mark on the belt buckle there, as you can see. That should be all silver there. But the emblems on the shoulders were in pretty good shape, and the rest of the figure looked very clean. That one sold for 130 pounds, which seems like a really good discount there on that one. I'm assuming that blaster is correct. It's hard to tell based on the limited photos there, but 130 pounds, which is 166 US dollars. Versus this one that also had wear on the belt, although the wear was a little bit more uniform. But, you know, that should be all silver for that belt buckle. The emblems, again, were in great shape. And he had a nice close-up of the weapon. Again, that was LM Lane, the same seller. So that one was definitely, 100% correct. And that one sold for $345 plus $5 shipping. So that makes me think that potentially this blaster was incorrect, or repro or something like that, but it was mentioned as complete for that one. But given the price disparity, that to me this is more in line. This 345 number is more in line with market. So something was definitely up with that blaster, if I had to guess. The Awing Pilot, the same seller had that one sold for 120 pounds, which is 153 US dollars. This one had a little bit of wear to the silver paint applications, as well as one of the hands, but overall a pretty clean condition, probably 80 grade. So that one sold for $153. And then going back to LM Lane, we know that this seller is very trustworthy, sells a lot of great stuff, and does not deal in repro or incorrect accessories. That one sold for $261, which again is more in line with market. So anyway, check out that seller. Again, I don't know him or have bought from him, but he always seems to have really nice, loose, complete figures with no repro. Next up was a R2-D2 Popup Saber. Again, I'm assuming that saber is correct, and it looks correct. A little bit of yellowing to the sticker, but overall very, very clean condition. Look how clean that dome is. No scratches at all to it. And the price reflected that. It sold for $585 in an auction, plus $560 shipping. You know, this one would probably grade at an 80 all day long, and that's a pretty good buy there, just given how clean that one looks. Next up was the Ewoks Scout, 100% complete, and this one continues to be pretty expensive on the secondary market when complete and in good shape. That one sold for $134 plus $550 shipping. And then finally, let's finish off with a few incredible play sets. This is the Power of the Force Ewok Battle Wagon, and it was complete with the box, manual, inserts, everything. And that was a stunner. Really hard to find this one. Not many of these out there in such clean condition. And the price again reflected that. It sold for $929 on 33 bids, plus $35 shipping. So over $950 for that example. In high grade AFA, like qualified grade, I've seen them sell for $1,500 or more. So this is probably about right. And this one looks like it would meet the qualified designation with AFA or CAS. But that was a beauty of a Ewok battle wagon. Same seller also had this land speeder that was complete with the box. And that one sold for $113.50. I thought that was a pretty good price there for the land speeder. This one looks like the original, not the original long play logo box, but the one that came right after that. And I think 1977, 78, somewhere in there. But there's an earlier version of that box that has the LP logo next to the Kenner. And then it switched over to one without the LP logo, and then obviously the collector series that came out in 1983. But $113.50 seems like a good deal there. And then finally, this seller also, he had a number of other ones, but I just pulled up 3. But this was the battle-damaged X-Wing fighter with the Empire Strikes Back packaging. So that's a very tough one to find. And that one sold for $142.48 in an auction. But that Empire Strikes Back packaging with the battle-damaged X-Wing, that one is a tricky one. It usually is very, very expensive, especially in high grade. If it's graded, I mean, I've seen these sell for, you know, over $1,000 pretty regularly. So anyway, just some more data points for vehicles and loose complete figures. Last 17, first 12, all over the map. But I just wanted to kind of cover some recent sales. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll be back soon.